The Family Independence Initiative in San Francisco, which began 3 years ago when Maurice Lim Miller decided to test his theory that friendships and social networks, not caseworkers, are the key to helping families overcome poverty.
I was running a very large social service agency when Jerry Brown called me at dinner one time, complaining that we needed to be much more effective. And he challenged me basically, it's like, if you could do anything you wanted to do to really make an impact and break the cycle of poverty, what would you do? Well, I knew that my mother had figured out how to get me out. And I thought that every mother would be able to figure what they would have to do to get their kids out. So what if we give the mothers and the fathers a chance to develop their own paths out of poverty, and we would learn from that.
I was a teen parent. Got into I was on aid. Back then it was AFDC. I didn't want AFDC to be a way of life. That's not a way of life for me.
I want my children to see me like I saw my parents and even more. I want them to see that hard work does pay off.
What FI has developed is kind of an approach that really goes to the families first. So what we do is we get 1 or 2 families that are really around the poverty level and ask them to recruit their friends. And we enroll then only in groups of friends. And in that, we then challenge these groups, a diverse set of communities, to really take the lead themselves. And what we're looking for is to see what kind of leaders emerge.
So he created a program where families could set goals like raising their income or helping their children graduate from high school. They had monthly meetings with neighbors and friends in the program. They were encouraged to do things like sign up for job training classes or encourage their kids to get help after school.
And what happens is that after a while you start seeing maybe one of the parents starting a business selling tamales and somebody else trying to buy a house, and maybe one of the kids doing better in school or they found a scholarship. And that within these groups, then they start sharing that information. And that information then crosses to other groups. And so people, when one group of the Salvadoran refugees start buying homes, African Americans start buying homes. And it starts changing the expectations on the broader community. And what FI then does is looks at those examples and sees what's worked and what didn't work for the families. That FI then looks at policies that really could be changed to make it easier for a broader number, a larger scale of families to really follow the same paths that were forged by those first leaders.
Before I did the monthly reports and quarterly things, I didn't pay attention to what I did because you get stuck in a routine and you just do. But as being an FII, you reflect.
The way that we report it online, and you see like for your individual family household, you would see like a graph. So it might be like credit reduction or savings. And when I saw the points going upward, I'm like cheering for myself, like, yay, like I'm doing it.
One of the most amazing things that happened is that with the Salvadoran families, Jorge Maria came up into one of the meetings and said, we're going to buy a house. Within 2 months of Jorge Maria getting that house, the savings for every Salvadoran family start going up. All of a sudden I asked them, so how come you guys are all saving? They said, well, if Jorge Maria can buy a house, we can buy a house. And sure enough, within a year and a half, they had all bought homes. Now that, for me, was a huge learning. That was the start of the ripple. That's when we realized one person's behavior impacts the expectations for everybody. FII really is focused on catalyzing breakthrough leaders, but it's done in an environment that they then have to pay it forward to the other families that are in their community. When they're given a chance to really lead their own change, somebody does something positive.